Hello everyone, here's Harry, founder of Rocky.ai. This video will introduce you how to invite users to your Rocky for Teams groups and teams. And I want to go through the process how to invite somebody, how to use the coach code, and then how to administer the users' activities on the app and how to remote control Rocky for your coachees, users, team members. Looking at the screen, we are back at the coaches panel, Rocky for Teams. And you remember from the last video that you have to have a team before you can invite individuals. So looking into that, there is a functionality that we see here, create new team, purchase seats, invite new users. This is where we want to be. Invite new users. There is, first of all, a panel user management where you can see your existing users summarized by the groups and the teams they are added in. You can have different settings here to modify their accounts, their access, the subscription status, and similar. To add a new user, you have the functionality invite new users. There is an advanced feature to invite and create many accounts on bulk, but mostly you will create a user account individually. Create a new user account. Where we start is add a username. So I will use myself in this case. Add the email address, Harry@Rocky.ai, for example. But then, very important, assign them directly to the team you want them to be invited to. So we had a number of teams set up. Happiness Coach Harry, and this is the presetting. What you then have to do finally is eventually to choose a date. So let's say you want the activity to start next Monday, but already this week you're preparing the invites. So you can set up the team for next Monday morning, 11:30 a.m., where the invitation email will be sent to your new user. If an user already has an account with Rocky, this invitation will not work. So in my case, I of course have an account, and you can see the message, Harry is already in use, the email Harry@Rocky is already in use. Please contact the user directly. So what the user can do in the case that they already have an account is they can use the coach code, in this case, dash happiness coach Harry, and go to their in-app or in the web browser or in the mobile app, go to their profile section. Within the profile section, you will find the panel coach code. And here, right now in my case, I have already a coach code Rocky for Teams, but I could add now happiness coach Harry, save that, and that will link my account now into this group in addition. So coming back to the coach panel, this would be the process of the invitation. Once you have that, you will find your users under team activities. So you have the different overview groups. Under the overview groups, for example, demo, campaign, unsorted, you have the teams. So let's look into an example of my demo group here. And we will find here a number of individuals connected to their accounts. There are different information up front. So you can see on George, he's in sleeping status, which means he didn't use the app recently. We have here an example, David, that blue icon means David is a coach, using the app, but did not start yet the onboarding process. It's a new account. So this list, of course, is my demo group. I use it here for presentations. So of course, these accounts are not active. What else you can see is there is a subscription status. So you can see on a quick view, is the user subscribed? Is a seat assigned to the user? And the green icon here means actually a last engagement. what's happening. So if I click now on Lara, I can access Lara's main panel and information for me as a coach. And I have a number of sets here that I can set up for Lara. First of all, we have the reminder settings. Reminder settings would allow you to set up the notification frequency of the reminders to come back to the app. So you can set it up for emails or mobile alerts. So some users prefer email, most use the mobile alerts. You can inactivate the alerts. But then, very importantly, you can set up the frequency of reminders called by Rocky. 2 per day, which would mean one in the morning and in the evening, usually only weekdays. 4 per week would mean 2 random morning reminders, 2 random evening reminders, or just twice per week, or the fixed setting, 2 fixed reminders per week. This is very interesting because with the fixed reminders, you can set exactly the day and time for users to connect. So we have here Monday at 6:45 a.m., Thursday at 7:23. I could change this to 8 a.m. And 7:45 p.m. Save that. So the upcoming reminders will come exactly at these days. You could also, beside of the reminder settings, create a notification. This is an additional fixed reminder that is set up on the date. Let's say, Harry, don't forget your birthday, anniversary of your wife, send a message, buy the flowers. It's just a random example, but you could add this message into, fix the date when this message will happen, and the user on the phone would see that this message actually came from the coach, from you who are setting this up, whereby the reminder settings themselves are coming from the app, coming from Rocky. So we have Lara's reminder settings set. Then we have call to actions and goals. Here you can set up their career stage, student, available, professional, executive. Depending on that stage, the questions are different that Rocky is using. So an available person means somebody who's right now not in an active job position, versus the executive who is a person in a leadership role. So an executive account would rather get questions about team management and leadership related to the program, whereby the available person would get eventually for the same program similar questions, but more oriented to the future vision of leadership, for example. So this career life stage is influencing the questions and the content. Then we have the North Star goal. The North Star goal is a text of a high level vision goal that the person wants to reach. You can free text, add and modify this goal, which will be applied and used within the chats. So once every third or fourth chat, the goal question will come up. Then we have personal coach questions. With this item, you could add a set of very custom random questions that will once in a while pop up in the chat with the information that you as coach have asked this question. So you can, with that, also add in some extras into the Rocky.ai chat. And you can also see the follow-ups and moments that are created by Rocky for the user during the interaction. You could move the priority, you could make an item more important, you could archive it, you could delete it. So you can influence those follow-ups with that a bit. Mostly they are generated by the AI and automatically updated, but however, you have an access to them. You could also create an own call to action sub-goal that could be then on the highest list. And the text here on top, call to action, will also be applied within the chats and come up once in a while. Usually the call to action is a reminder that the person has set for themselves, or the top priority, highest ranking follow-up. So you can influence this as well. So these are the call to actions, the goal settings. All of these items will come into the chat and in the app. Next thing are the topics. With the topics, you can now set the personal growth path for each user. The personal growth path is, so maybe you remember, each user, you can define them as full access to their growth program and settings, or remove their access to change and modify their settings. In that case, you would be responsible to set up the growth path fully. And basically, you can set up to 7 topics. You have the full access of the program pools and content that Rocky is supplying, including the premium content if you have activated them for your account first and then also activated them for the teams. But for sure, you can build up the topics. You can look on the list on your app itself, what the program pool does apply, and then you can build up a personalized growth path. So this is a setting that you should do for sure for your clients initially. You can then let them evolve with Rocky and change them, or you can once in a while look into that and modify and extend those topics for your coachee. Looking into the topics that we just mentioned, you can actually see the engagement on these topics here. So mission number 3, explore new topics. So you would now see for Lara's account, leadership, open mind, active listening, give first, clear messages. And the blue graph shows the engagement points gained on those different topics. So Lara was very active on clear messages, content, and interacted a lot with the app in clear messages context, but less on give first, leadership, open mind. And what you could do now here is to change the priority for the next chat. For example, we said give first is something interesting. We want Lara to talk next. So I'm just activated give first as the first priority. So Rocky will start with give first next time. And basically every chat, Rocky is scrolling more or less through the growth path and changing the topics. If you want a user to be very specific and only work on give first, you could remove all other items and just stay with give first, and then every chat will be about give first. If you have 5 topics, Rocky will change the topics chat by chat every 2 days and modify them. Then we have the current trends of topics and mood. So the average mindset shows the current mood trend. So very green means it's a perfect day. Very red, it's the opposite of a good day. Mostly people are in the light green section, which means they feel good and they are on an acting approach. They set up intentions and goals. And here on the right side, you can see some examples of where those moods are derived from. So a trending response from Lara is she's winning with meetings. So this is the dark green. She's acting on success topics, light green. She has expectations that she's searching for, that's the orange. And she has challenges with attitude, which is the red one. However, the average mindset is a complete summary of the points and engagements, whereby the average key responses are highlights. And this is what you can see for each day. So on the right side, you can see the chat conversations of Lara. So you have the width of the bike shows how motivated and engaged the person was, what was the mood of the conversation, of the start of the conversation. And the color indicates how deep the person went into the chat. If I'm opening this up, I can actually see the full conversation only if Lara's account activated me as coach to see the chat conversation. By default, you cannot see the chat conversation itself. But if a coachee wants you to access those chats, they can activate it in the profile section and make it visible to you. What you for sure can see, you can see the trending mindset for that chat and for that day. So on that day, Lara was talking about success and productivity. And this trend you can get for every chat conversation. On the right side here, you can see the monthly summary here in the main setting. And then you have some stats, how many conversation, when was the last one, when was the last reminder. By the way, the reminders will not pop up if a person already opened the app in the morning. So there is no additional reminder once the person already had the chat with Rocky. The reminders actually would rather come if a person is not using the app. So just as a hint, we're trying not to overflow people with reminders. Here's again a little summary of the current call to action goals or the main program topics that are applied today. You could also, on the top right here, send an individual support conversation message. So you could say, hello Lara, have you been able have you been able to get my advice on relationships? If you send this message, then Lara will get under the section support a message from her coach. Also will state this message was sent by the coach, and you can have a side chat. With that, Lara can use the same functionality under the function support to contact you as a coach to ask for help, or even contact the Rocky.ai team for some technical support. So this is in short, the overview of Lara's account, and this is what you can see for all your coachees within the teams and the groups. There are some extra settings that would align the assigned teams, so you could remove a person from a team, add to another team, so you can see here join other teams. I want to move Lara into happiness coach Harry, join team. So now Lara is in 3 teams. If in the second case, Harry Coach, this account now has no access on this team, I can see that Lara is another team, but because I'm not the team manager for Harry Coach in this example, I cannot remove a membership. Only the team leader in this group could do that. So there is some limitation, but basically, in most cases, you would have them in your teams. I could also decide that I want Lara to join a particular team ranking competition. This is very interesting if you have exclusive groups and you want that the members of these exclusive groups just see other team members' rankings and scores, and not the rankings of generic other users. So you could assign here a team competition, which has to be created at the team's site. So in the team management, you can create this competitive IDs and then it's connected. If you have an coach administration account, which can be requested directly via the Rocky.ai team, you could also promote or demote users into coaches, which makes sense if you have a multi-level coaching team organization where you as manager of the overall group want to assign different team leaders, coaches to different teams. So you could promote a person into a coach, which would for sure give them also an access to Rocky for Teams, but only for the groups and members that they are assigned to. So this is Rocky for Teams, the individual users view. So this is what you can see about the activity. Best practice. Once a user, a coachee, is connected with a coach or a team leader, of course, there is a certain transparency and trust, so that's why usually you cannot access the full chats, only the mood and trends. You cannot see what usually the user is saying. But still, one of the points of using Rocky for Teams is this, that you as coach have a hybrid model of having a one-to-one conversation while also having Rocky remote controlled by yourself to ensure engagement and activities after, before, during your coaching initiatives. So in best case, you look into it once a while, you look what the trends are, you see where people are struggling with, and then you can use this to start an additional message interaction. That's why you could chat directly here with Lara in the chat and react on things that happened with the app. And as more you use that together with your program, as more interesting the engagement will also be for the user. A final thing is the seat assignment. So usually the team manager, the organization, the coach would be the sponsor of Lara's subscription. So you buy seats. That's I will explain in another video. But you have to assign those seats to Lara. So you see Lara has a red dollar icon, which means the subscription is not active anymore. If the subscription is not active, but was before, that means that Lara still is connected to Rocky, but she will get limited access to all the contents and she will fall back to free limited content within the app. So you want Lara to have the full access on the growth path. Lara needs a subscription, therefore. So you can assign your seats that you purchased before. And you open this functionality, add seats to account. In my case, I have now no seats available here for this account, but I would then transfer and add the seats at this moment. I can also make an automatic adjustment. I will show this in another video. To assign to Lara and to ensure that she is fully in. You can, of course, pause that for a while and then continue later again. It works. However, important, once no subscription is active, Lara falls back into free content only. Yes, thank you very much for listening and talk to you soon. Yours, Harry.